محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. بعد، فهذه ليلة الجمعة، ليلة عظيمة مباركة يسن فيها الإكثار من الصلاة على سيدي ومولاي رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه من كل عمل صالح. This is the night of Jumu'ah. It's a blessed night and it's a beautiful night, and it's a night that you should increase your salah upon the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام in all good deeds. يروي الإمامان البخاري ومسلم في صحيحيهما عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال. The hadith tonight is a collection of both Bukhari and Muslim and read to us by Abu Hurairah. This is an interesting hadith, and it's in the the Sahihain, and it's something that Abu Hurairah saw happen after the Prophet ﷺ passed away a number of years, maybe 5 or 6 years, during the Khilafah of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. What was happening was that Hassan ibn Thabit, the known poet, was sitting in the Masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, and he had a little bit of a cushion to sit on, something like this, maybe a little bit higher than this. And he would sit there and he would recite poetry, like he would read some of his poetry. قال يقول أبو هريرة مر عمر على حسان وهو ينشد في المسجد. Umar ibn Khattab walks by while Hassan is sitting and he's reciting poetry. And when they recited poetry, they did it with a rhythm. They sang it. They sung it. So it was a song. It wasn't the way maybe I would read poetry to you, boring. They actually, obviously, Arabic poetry is very strict in terms of its rulings. It's very hard to write. And when you do, it has a rhythm to it. And that's the only way you can memorize it. You have to know the rhythm. So if you don't know the rhythm, you're going to forget. It's impossible to memorize Arabic poetry. It's just words. But once you have the rhythm, then you know you can actually even fill in the blanks. If you forget a word, you can just replace it and still the poetry will make sense. So they would sing it out. It had a rhythm and they would sing it out. So Umar ibn Khattab walks by and Hassan is making ينشد الشعر في المسجد. قال فلحظ إليه. لحظ إليه means he gave him a dirty look. That's what it means. He looked at him and gave him a look and what is this? What are you doing? And Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was a very practical individual who, I guess as time progressed, didn't see the value of certain things for a while. But so when he stared and kind of stared at Sayyidina Hassan and gave him a little bit of a look, Hassan قال قد أنشدت الشعر وفي المسجد من هو خير منك. I used to do this and in the masjid was someone better than you. And then he turned to Abu Hurairah and said, أنشدك الله أما سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول أجب عني اللهم أيده بروح القدس. He said, and he turns to Abu Hurairah and said, I ask you by Allah, did you not hear the Prophet once tell me, answer them and Allah will strengthen you with Jibreel, with the force of Jibreel. Meaning you just answer them, meaning give them, say poetry that will impress people, that will mesmerize people, that people will enjoy more than the garbage that they are sending towards us. Say something that has a better rhythm to it, that's catchier, that people once they hear, they'll enjoy more. Oh, say it and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen you with the force of Jibreel. فقال أبو هريرة فقلت اللهم نعم. Yes, I did, I heard it. قال فانصرف عمر. فعمر kept on walking. رضي الله عنه, didn't say anything. صلى الله عليه وصحبه وسلم. In his masjid, this is 1400 years ago, they used to sit and they would recite poetry. I could easily give like a series of lectures on explaining why and what significance that has in our deen. But I only have 5 minutes before people start moving around and wanting to leave. So just take this from me. The Prophet ﷺ he understood the value of art, understood the value of it, what it did, how cultures aren't, there's no such thing as culture without art in it. Like if you remove art, it's like the backbone and there's no culture anymore. And art comes in a lot of forms. And the cultural and the artistic form of culture that the Arabs had, or the cultural form of art, whatever you want to say, for the Arab was poetry. This is how they expressed themselves. And today, that hasn't changed that much. Song is just poetry. Yes, there's a lot of instruments in the background, so sometimes the lyrics are actually completely worthless and mean nothing. But still, strong lyrics make a difference. Strong words touch people. Till this day, strong orators and public speakers will make a difference in their community. That doesn't change, by the way. That's how world wars began. That's how world wars ended. That's how countries rose. That's how countries fell. It's the effect of words. So the Prophet ﷺ understood that. So having someone like Hassan, if you studied his track record, you'd have a little bit of a question about it. You'd come and ask me, what are these things that it's not, but it doesn't matter. Because the influence he had, the impact he had, basically was an ocean of hasanat that some of his mistakes will get easily dissolved in the middle of it and doesn't matter anymore. Because of the impact that he had, because he said things that people don't, wallahi, and we know this, like one good piece of art, it will replace like millions of khutbahs. Millions, everything I've ever said in my life and I'll ever say to the day I die could be replaced with just one good song that has a concept in it that I tried to explain, but it'll make it more. More people will hear it, more people will practice it, more people will love it and embrace it, and I could speak until I'm blue in the face, until I drop dead, and no one, and it'll be very much. Why? Because art is impactful, because it's impactful. So this is a part that we have to breathe that in our society. We have to encourage it. People have to be comfortable trying and making mistakes and doing things that don't make, because you need art, because you need it. And that poetry that we don't memorize today. I mean, the things that Sayyidina Hassan said that most people hear, if I sat down and started to recite them to you, you'd get bored and want to leave. But the things that he said back then, it meant something. It allowed them to be who they were. They walked with pride. They taught it to their kids and their kids' kids, and they sung it. And it gave them that identity that allowed them to become Muslim. They took it with them everywhere. Just the fact that we don't have that today is a problem. Because you're asking someone like me, find a way to make Islam interesting to the youth without art. Ya Sheikh, kif? What do you think, I'm a magician? It's impossible. You need it. It's a part of a culture. Without art, I have nothing. You're giving me nothing. I have no tools. You need it. It's a part of the beauty, in my opinion. The beauty of Islam is that it's built on a book that is extremely profound. If you study the Quran in detail, the depth of the Quran will blow you away, but it's artistic at the highest level. You can't even recite it, you have to sing it. If I stood here and if I just recited, يُسَبِّحُ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, you'll pray tonight, you won't pray tomorrow. And you'll say something's wrong with this person. I have to sing it. And there are rules to how it's going to be sung. I have to make 4 counts when it's here and 2 counts here and 6 there, and there are rules to it. It has artistic rules that govern it. And I don't know another book in the world that has that. That is extremely artistic and beautiful. If you understood nothing of it, you just hear one of the mashayikh of the haram reciting it, you just enjoy it. At the same time, it's the most profound thing you'll ever pick up. That's just a paradox. That's almost like a conundrum. It's an oxymoron. Like if one exists, it's impossible. How do you put them together? But he did, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet ﷺ taught that. And he encouraged people to have that artistic, part of themselves and to use it. And we're missing it. I love this hadith because it happened where? The significance of Masajid, going back to the same theme, it happened in the masjid. It didn't have to happen outside. It happened inside. And when Umar ibn al-Khattab, for a moment didn't like it, had to be silenced. رضي الله عنه وأرضاه وهو سيدنا وتاج رأسنا سيدنا الخطاب. But at that moment when he felt that maybe this is not, they told him, no, this is very important. And yes, that generation memorized the words of Hassan. That generation memorized the words of Hassan ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu and sung it for the rest of their lives. And that's how we became who we are today. يروي الشيخان في متفقا عليه عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال مر عمر على حسان وهو ينشد الشعر في المسجد فلحظ إليه فقال حسان قد كنت أنشد الشعر وفي المسجد من هو خير منك ثم التفت إلي وقال أنشدك الله أما سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول لي أجب عني اللهم أيده بروح القدس فقلت اللهم نعم فانصرف عمر رضي الله عنه صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم. Tomorrow inshallah the Jumu'ah is at 1:15. We'll see you then inshallah ta'ala if you have the time.